Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have the Artisan Cutlery Osprey. This is a very big, very large knife that I honestly probably would not have purchased, but now that I've got it in my hands, it's kind of cool. I kind of get it. Cleavers like this, these big folding cleavers are, as Zoolander would say, so hot right now. Everybody's making these big cool cleavers. Artisan is making a bunch of them, and they have this and the Tomahawk model you'll see in a moment, and they're both pretty cool. This is one of their kind of, I guess you'd call it mid-priced. This comes in several different versions. Artisan makes so many different knives. They make everything in a bunch of different flavors and colors and all that stuff. They make it in a G10 with flat handles that's $69.99. They make it in this curve, they call it, the G10 curve, with these nice milled handles. That's $78.99. That's what this model is. It comes, and both of those come in several different colors. They also make an S35 VN titanium version for $250, and for, if you want to go up to $300, you can get M390 and titanium handles. All same basic design, but different materials and stuff. I have not put a whole lot of miles in this, virtually none. I will say, I will admit, I just got it this morning. It arrived by UPS early this morning, but I don't want to put a lot of use on it because this is part of our giveaway. This is going to be in my 3,000 sub giveaway, which is coming up in a few days. So I don't want to abuse it before it goes on to the next person, but I wanted to do a little video about it. So this is going to be kind of a initial impressions, but it's going to be the only impressions I get because it's going to go on to one of you guys as soon as I'm done with this and we hit 3,000. But as I said, very, very cool cleaver design from them. Let's do some specs before we get too far in. Pull up my notes here. It is a very large knife, obviously. Overall length of, according to my measurements, 8.6 inches. Blade length, 3.8. Blade thickness, not as crazy as it looks. It's only 0.155 at the thickest point I measured it, which is actually up here instead of back here like it normally is. You have a handle thickness of 0.6 inches and a weight pretty hefty, 6.2 ounces. But not insane, but still pretty heavy knife here, obviously. That's a whole lot of D2 blade steel. By the way, that's what you're getting in the G10 models is D2. So, yeah, that's a whole lot of steel. You can mill out your liners all you want, which they did, but you can't hide the weight of all that D2 and that big old cleaver blade. Do some size comparisons. It's almost kind of hard to find size comparisons for this because I don't have a whole lot of really huge knives. So we'll start out with the standard. We'll start out with your Spyderco PM2. Not even going to bring out the Para 3 I normally bring out for these. It's not dramatically longer than the PM2, but a little bit. Bring out your Kershaw Knockout. It's quite a bit longer than that. And one I haven't used in a while, your Spyderco Manix 2. Again, a fair bit longer than that. Another knife, another large knife in sort of this price category. It's actually quite a bit less, but your Civivi Praxis. Actually fairly similar in overall length to that. You can tell there's a little bit of more handle sticking out of there. We'll talk about that as we go on. And what I want to do last, we'll pull out, this is probably going to be the closest in size, your Cold Steel Recon 1. It's actually just a tick shorter than a Recon 1. So it's large, but it's not ridiculously long, but it's still a pretty darn big knife, especially when you look at that blade. All right. Let's talk about the design of this knife. As I said, it's a big old cleaver blade, and these are very popular right now. A lot of people are really liking the folding cleavers. I wasn't super sold on them. I'm starting to get more and more. There's this, and as I mentioned before, they make another model. This is their other, the Tomahawk, which is actually a bit longer, but a bit less extreme of a blade. But, playing with these today, I kind of get it. And I've had a couple cleavers before, folding cleavers, and they are kind of cool. Not much for piercing, but nice big heavy blade to chop stuff with. And I don't mind the design of this at all. The only issue I have with it, and this is really being nitpicky, but because of the lanyard hole, you guys know how I feel about lanyard holes, the packaging, it could be a much smaller handle to blade ratio if they didn't have that lanyard hole. You can see the blade stops about the top of the pocket clip, and that's just kind of tacked on there. But this kind of knife, people are probably going to put lanyards on it, let's be honest. But other than that, I think the design is pretty cool. The G10 is very well done. Quality-wise, everything is very well done, I will say. The G10 feels really nice. It feels like very quality, nice G10. The milling is awesome. As I said, this is the curve model. You can save $10 and get it with just flat G10. But I really like it. The pocket clip is well made. And you will see, the last Artisan review I did, the Shark, I believe, I complained because this little pivot thing was on both sides. Now it isn't. Now you got a T10 on one side, and it's a captive pivot, so you can just, take the knife apart like a normal knife. So hoorah! And wow, Artisan reacted to that criticism very, very quickly. Thumbs up to them for that. I complained about it, other reviewers complained about it, and this is like 2 months later at the most, and now they don't have it anymore. So very, very well done on them. I do really like it. Yeah, blade centering is perfect. I've not touched this since I got out of the box. As I said, this is just this is going away to you guys, so I didn't take it apart or anything. Screw quality is good, not amazingly awesome, but it's pretty good. Yeah, they did a really good job with this, quality-wise and stuff. The design is love it or hate it, but I think it's kind of cool. I've already showed it to a couple of my friends this afternoon, my son and a couple friends of mine, and they all thought it was kind of cool. So aesthetically, I think it looks good. Every time I post a picture of one of these, somebody says that those look like swastikas. I don't see it, and this is the last time I'm going to mention it on one of my reviews because I just don't see it. I mean, yeah, anything square. Oh, you add a couple lines and it's a swastika. Well, anything square, liney logo, add a few lines and it's a swastika. Just if that's what you want to think, then that's what you want to think. I think it's kind of dumb. I don't think it looks like one at all, but that's just me. Blade, a whole lot of D2. It's a whole lot of stonewash D2. It is pretty thin behind the edge. It's not too bad. It's 29 thousandths. It's not super thin behind the edge by any stretch of the imagination, but for this big old cleaver, I was expecting it to be more than that. And it's not as thick as I thought. As I said, 0.155, not too bad at all. I have not done a whole lot of cutting of this because, as I said, it's going on to somebody else, but I did cut through a little bit of cardboard just to check. Took a couple swipes, worked fine. Definitely perfectly fine to cut, paper and stuff right out of the box. It's very sharp, very good edge. If I can get in on that. I was actually quite impressed with the edge. I got 3 Artisans today, and all 3 have very good edges on them. Yeah, I don't think this camera's going to zoom in right, but they're all very, very good. Very, very nicely sharpened out of the box. Not much for piercing, obviously. It's cleaver. It's not really meant to be. But I kind of like that Artisan's focusing on these cleaver things. They know that people are buying them a lot right now, and they're like, we're going to make some cool ones. And they have. They've got 2 pretty cool ones. Ergonomically, great. It really is. This is a super comfortable handle. It's very simple, which simple usually means comfortable for more people. The G10 is, like, as I said, nicely contoured. And yeah, ergonomically, this thing is great. If you were going to use this as an actual cleaver and, hack at 6 racks of ribs or something like that, your hand's not going to get tired. Very, very good. Can barely feel this pocket clip. It's really, really nice in the hand. It is an excellent knife ergonomically. Just really, really, really good. Carry-wise, it's really big. I don't know what to say about that, but it's not as bad as I expected. Let me break out the old Wranglers here. So depends on the structure of your pocket, I think. Like these are, old Wranglers with a cotton pocket, and they kind of just get out of the way for it. And it's really not too bad. You put it in and then just kind of shove it off to the side, and it moves pretty well out of the way. I mean, I wouldn't want to put my wallet in there or something that I'm grabbing out all the time, but you could have something else in there and you could get it out. It's not horrible. It's not really, I had it out here, it's not really much worse than like a Manix 2 in your pocket. It's really not that much worse than that. You're creating a pocket cleaver, you're going to make some sacrifices, but as you can see, it's not sticking out too far. No complaints there. All that's sticking out is a little lanyard hole, so if you want your little lanyard, you can get a hold of it. But not nearly as bad as I expected. As far as the action and the deployment stuff, it's great. They nailed the detent on this, and I gotta say, it can't be easy to get a detent right on a blade this heavy, because obviously, fall shut, of course it's gonna, the blade's huge, it's heavy, of course it's gonna fall shut. Like, that's not hard. Just put some decent bearings on it, which this does have really good bearings. Of course it's just gonna drop. It's science. You know, that's how gravity works. It just falls. But the detent is good. Like, this is a really heavy blade, and even holding it stupid way, I have a really hard time failing it. It's not a hard detent enough that, like, it hurts my finger or anything. But even holding it, big heavy blade like this should be difficult to open when it's facing down and you're fighting against gravity. But man, it works every freaking time. The detent on it is just awesome. It's a very fun knife just to sit and play with. I wouldn't want to play with it in public around people. I think if you're sitting in a, you know, the cafeteria at your work and you're flipping a giant cleaver around, you may get a look or two. but it's fun. It's a really fun knife. And you know what? For 80 bucks, it's not insane. It's worth the 80 bucks. If you want to be even a little cheaper, you can get it for 70 with the flat G10. And I do have a, I can't remember which model this is. I've got another Artisan with the flat G10, and that's also really nicely done too. So if you want to save 10 bucks, it's not a big deal to switch to the flat G10. But I do like the contour. I think it's well worth the money. Cleavers are very popular. If you want to dip your toe into this big folding cleaver realm, I mean, it's cheaper than, this is one of the, obviously, they make this one in the $80 range too, but the Tomahawk, you know, this is the $300 one. You know, that's a bit more to ask for to dip into that cleaver realm, but this is very reasonably priced, very well made. Artisan is going nuts right now. They have so many models, and they just announced a bunch more. And so far, they've been super responsive to deal with. They've been great for us YouTubers. They've been very eager to get stuff in our hands and get it reviewed. And I got no pressure to give a good review, anything like that. They just sent me some stuff, and they were super willing to give stuff away in the giveaway, and just been awesome to deal with. And I've got pretty good faith in them so far. They come in a really nice box too. Make sure I got the right one. I guess it doesn't really matter. They all come with the same thing. But they come with these really cool little bags. Oh, the Zumwalt's my other one, because that's the box I've got out. The Zumwalt was the one I showed you earlier. But they come with these nice little, you know, it says ceramic ball bearings, all that stuff. And they got these really nice little, looks like little tiny liquor bags. They remind me of Crown Royal bags. I don't know. Maybe I drink too much if that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But great packaging, really nice knife, very unique designs. And I really like, I'm kind of getting the cleaver thing a little bit. I don't know if it's something I carry every day, but it's pretty cool. And one of you can win it. When I get closer to 3,000, you'll find out how. I'll do another little video about that. But that's not what this is about. This is about the knife. Just want to do the review because I don't want to scratch it up for you guys. So I figured I might as well just do it now and get it out of the way. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Check out Artisan Cutlery, artisancutlery.net. Really cool little knives, or big knives, mostly big stuff. They're kind of into the big stuff, but check out artisancutlery.net. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.